At the edge of Eastern Europe, Georgia's capital awaits to introduce you to its magic. Unspoiled by massive tourism, Tbilisi is a city to experience with all your senses. Keep watching to discover the best places to visit in Tbilisi, Georgia, your next favorite city break destination. Reflected on the waters of the Kura River, Tbilisi's diverse architecture is a testament to the city's many layers of history. From stunning buildings, impressive churches, and centuries-old hot baths, to historic fortresses, massive monuments, and beautiful parks, there's no shortage of amazing places to visit in Tbilisi. The Georgian capital is a very walkable city, which means that you can easily explore it on foot. For some uphill locations, you can ride Tbilisi's cable cars, while for longer distances, we recommend using a riding app like Bolt. Now, let's jump to our list of the best places to visit in Tbilisi, Georgia. A quick look at Google Maps is enough to understand that Old Tbilisi is a very extensive area. So, what we mean by Old Town in this video is in essence Kala, the oldest neighborhood in Tbilisi. Kala is a fascinating place to explore. Home to beautiful churches, the coziest cafes and restaurants, gorgeous buildings with ornate wooden balconies, or others with courtyards that seem to have been stuck in the past only to be revived by colorful street art, Kala is the ideal place for a pleasant stroll with the fluffiest cats and cutest dogs keeping you company. During your walk, don't miss the iconic clock tower of Tbilisi, which stands next to the city's puppet theater. Apart from its quirky architecture, you will also be amazed to discover one of the world's smallest clocks hiding in plain sight on the clock tower's wall. Yet another unmissable location in Kala is a building that houses the History and Wine Museums of Tbilisi. The History Museum features scale models of Georgian mansions, old furniture, and eye-opening photos from Tbilisi's past. Housed in the building's original cellars, the Wine Museum narrates Georgia's 8,000-year-old wine-making history. Apart from the museums, the building itself is worth a stop for its magnificence and history alike. Back when Tbilisi was a stop along the famed Silk Road, this was a caravanserai, a roadside inn where travelers would stop to rest after a days-long journey. At the southern end of Kala, the neighborhood of Abanotubani awaits. Abanotubani means bath district in Georgian, and for good reason. This is where Tbilisi's ancient hot springs and renowned thermal baths are located. In the 5th century, King Vakhtang Gorgasali discovered the natural sulfur springs by chance while hunting with his falcon. He was so excited that he decided to found a new city there. He named the new city Tbilisi, which means warm place. A fitting name considering how important the hot baths have been to the city and its culture throughout the centuries. In Tbilisi's bathhouses, you can choose between a private or a public experience. If you go for the latter, expect communal nudity. If you book a private room for your group instead, you will have a pool with sulfur water, showers, a bathroom, a resting area, and several other amenities all to yourselves. Treli Abano is probably the most famous bathhouse in Tbilisi. Also called Orbeliani Baths, this bathhouse is known for its splendid Persian-inspired facade. Throughout its history, several prominent personalities enjoyed the sulfur waters of Treli Abano. During our trip to Tbilisi, we booked Alexander Pushkin's favorite room. Another bathhouse we visited and liked a lot was the luxurious, spa-like King Iraklis bath. Abanotubani lays under the shadow of the imposing Narikala Fortress. Built atop Narikala Hill, the fortress has changed hands many times, until it was destroyed in the 19th century. A walk along the fortification walls allows you to gasp at superb views of Tbilisi. The best way to get to Narikala Hill is a ride on the cable car that starts from Rike Park. Another place to visit on Narikala Hill is one that you must have seen from the moment you arrived in Tbilisi. The Mother of Georgia is a colossal statue erected in 1958 to celebrate Tbilisi's 1500th birthday. One of the city's most striking landmarks, the Mother of Georgia holds a bowl of wine in her left hand and a sword in her right hand. The wine is for those who come to Georgia as friends, while the sword is for those who come as enemies. Near the statue, you will find a handful of souvenir shops and cafes. Instead of riding the cable car to get back to downtown Tbilisi, walk down the Botanical Street stairs for a scenic walk that will take you to the Old Town. Not far from Narikala Hill, the Botanical Garden of Tbilisi, with its streams, footpaths and bridges, has been around since the 17th century. Home to almost 4,000 plant species, the garden's indisputable highlight is a breathtaking waterfall with an impossible-to-pronounce name. Surrounded by lush greenery and dramatic cliffs, Rustaveli waterfall is a natural wonder that you don't often come across in the heart of a capital city. One of the best places to visit in Tbilisi is, without a doubt, the neighborhood of Sololaki. It's no overstatement to say that Sololaki is where the very soul of Tbilisi resides. Sololaki abounds in magnificent Art Nouveau buildings that belonged to wealthy merchants but now bear the mark of neglect. To fully understand what lies behind Tbilisi's abandoned-looking buildings, it's worth exploring Sololaki on a guided tour. During our trip to Tbilisi, our local friend Baya gave us an insightful tour of Sololaki, its most notable buildings and best hidden back alleys and courtyards, sharing exciting stories and urban legends along the way. We've included a link to Baya's tour in the description of this video. If you join only one tour in Tbilisi, make it this one and you won't regret it. Soaring above Sololaki, Mtatsminda Park is one of our favorite places in Tbilisi. Constructed by the Soviets in the 1930s, Mtatsminda Park is now home to an amusement park and the spectacular building of Cafe Funicula, one of Tbilisi's emblems. Two more icons of Tbilisi are built atop Mount Mtatsminda, a giant Ferris wheel and the city's TV tower. Apart from taking long strolls and marveling at panoramic views of Tbilisi at every turn, one serious reason to visit Mtatsminda Park is to try the delicious ponchiki served at Cafe Funicula. These donut-like treats date back to Soviet times, and you simply can't leave Tbilisi without trying them. The best way to get to the top of Mtatsminda Park is a ride on the nostalgic Tbilisi Funicula, one of the best things to do in Tbilisi in its own right. The lower Funicula station is a short walk from downtown Tbilisi. However, as it's quite uphill, you might want to order a ride to get there. Apart from the lower and upper stations, the funicular also stops halfway for those who wish to visit the peaceful Pantheon, the resting place of several prominent Georgians. Back to the center of Tbilisi, you can't miss the futuristic Bridge of Peace. Constructed in 2010, the bridge isn't just a tourist attraction, but one of the city's main pedestrian crossings. Of course, the bridge has sparked some controversy. What does a construction made of glass and steel do at the edge of the Old Town, many argue. We leave it to you to decide if you like it or not. Either way, one thing's for sure: the Bridge of Peace is utterly impressive, especially when it gets dark, and puts on a fantastic light show. The Bridge of Peace stretches over the Kura River, connecting the Old Town to Rike Park. We've already mentioned that the cable car to Narikala Hill starts from Rike Park. Yet, the park is worth a quick stroll in its own right. Dotted with bronze sculptures and various recreational areas, this urban park is a nice place to hang out all year round. Tbilisi's main road, Rustaveli Avenue, is lined with some of the city's most striking buildings. Among them, the National Opera and the Parliament Building stand out. Rustaveli Avenue is ideal for long strolls and watching the local life go by. However, Rustaveli Avenue is one of the best places to visit in Tbilisi for yet another reason. Here, you will find some of the city's most remarkable museums. The Georgian National Museum narrates the country's history with exhibitions ranging from ancient artifacts to displays related to the Soviet occupation. The Georgian Museum of Fine Arts hides numerous works of art by over 100 Georgian artists within its walls. On a side street of Rustaveli Avenue, the Tbilisi State Academy of Arts is a 19th century mansion with splendid interiors that now houses one of the oldest universities in Tbilisi. Whether you choose to visit any or all of these museums or not, Rustaveli Avenue is an integral part of the city's life, and you should at least enjoy a stroll along its wide sidewalks. Just remember that there aren't any pedestrian crossings along Rustaveli Avenue. If you want to cross the street, you must do so via one of the underground passageways. To locate one of those, look for a green sign like this one. Rustaveli Avenue starts from Freedom Square and ends at Rose Revolution Square, near the giant bicycle statue. Since we're on the subject of museums, here's another one. Also known as the Georgian State Museum of Theatre, Music, Cinema and Choreography, the Art Palace of Georgia poses a dilemma. What's more jaw-dropping, the building itself or the exhibits inside? A fine example of Gothic and Islamic architecture, the Art Palace of Georgia is one of the prettiest buildings in Tbilisi, hiding an intriguing love story within its walls. Inside, more than 300,000 exhibits take visitors on a journey through Georgia's arts, from cinema to theatre to ballet and many more. About half an hour's drive from the heart of Tbilisi, one of the most impressive landmarks awaits. The Chronicles of Georgia is a monumental construction built on a hill near the Tbilisi Sea, an artificial lake used as a reservoir. Sitting atop a large set of stairs, the monument comprises 16 pillars with reliefs that depict scenes from the lives of Georgian queens, kings, heroes, and Christ. It's a crash course on Georgia's history and religion, but also a location that offers outstanding views. Related to a different period in Georgia's history, Stalin's underground printing house is a mandatory stop for any recent history buff. Joseph Stalin was born in Georgia in the nearby city of Gori. In the early 1900s, he set up a secret printing house in Tbilisi to print proclamations against the Tsar. Nowadays, you can have a look at several pieces of this printed material alongside the original printing house that lies hidden underground, 15 meters below a traditional wooden house. At the museum, you will be guided by one of its two keepers, real-life communists who speak no English but do a great job explaining everything in excellent body language. You are also given a leaflet with information in English. Another remnant of Tbilisi's Soviet past, the Skybridge is a valid reason to take the short trip to the Saburtalo district. The Skybridge is a residential complex of 3 blocks of flats linked by an elevated metal footbridge. Walking along this bridge allows you to take in the views of the concrete jungle that is Saburtalo, but also partake in the city's recent history. The 3 blocks of flats are built on different levels. There are 2 ways to access the bridge. First, you can order a ride to the lowest building. Once there, you will see 2 lifts in the lobby. One is reserved for residents, the other is public. Step inside the public lift and insert a 20 tetri coin per person in the designated machine. The lift will whisk you up to the 14th floor, from where you can access the bridge. Alternatively, order a ride to the highest building to enjoy your walk along the bridge. The latter option is the only option when the lift is closed for restoration works, which isn't uncommon. Georgia is a deeply religious country, and this is why it's dotted with several Christian Orthodox churches. Tbilisi isn't an exception. The Georgian capital is home to many beautiful churches worth visiting. From the Holy Trinity Cathedral that catches the eye with its massive size, to the quaint Metehi church that dominates the left bank of the Kura River, to the Sioni Cathedral in the heart of the Old Town, to the enchanting ruins of the Armenian Church of the Red Gospel. Don't miss a chance to admire Tbilisi's beautiful churches. On a more secular note, Tbilisi also features a handful of lively markets to check out. Descend to the depths of Meydan Bazaar in the Old Town, the most historic of all Tbilisi markets, yet now the city's most touristic. If you want to hunt for vintage treasures and USSR memorabilia, the Dry Bridge Market is an unmissable stop. For grocery shopping among locals, your best shot is Bazar Orbeliani or Desertir Bazaar, the most authentic farmers' market in Tbilisi. On the outskirts of Tbilisi, a small lake awaits for the most relaxing moments. In the winter, you can take long strolls or laze under the winter sun at the on-site cafes. In the summer, you can go swimming or even hike to Mtatsminda Park. No matter what season you're visiting Tbilisi, Turtle Lake offers a welcome refuge from the hustle and bustle of the city. When weather allows it, a Soviet-era cable car is the best way to get to Turtle Lake. However, when it's windy, the cable car stops. In that case, grab a taxi to Turtle Lake. From Turtle Lake, you can enjoy a pleasant downhill walk to Tbilisi's open-air Museum of Ethnography. The museum is a study of architecture and crafts from several regions of Georgia, with 70 buildings and over 8,000 items on display. Further down the hill, Rike Park is a large green space crowned by a huge World War II memorial. The park features grand staircases, fountains, restaurants, and an open-air cinema. As we reach the end of this video, here's where to go when the day gives way to night in Tbilisi. A former Soviet factory, Fabrika, now houses the largest hostel in Tbilisi. What draws us to Fabrika, though, is its inner courtyard, a lively space to chat the evening away among locals and visitors alike. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this video about the best places to visit in Tbilisi, Georgia. With so many fantastic places to visit in Tbilisi, you may find it a bit overwhelming to try and fit everything on a short trip to the Georgian capital. If that's the case, we've got your back. After spending a month in Tbilisi recently, learning all its nooks and crannies, we crafted the perfect Tbilisi Itinerary, a useful resource for anyone visiting Tbilisi, especially for the first time. You can find it by clicking on the relevant link in the description below. If you enjoyed our video about Tbilisi, give it a like, share it with your friends, or leave us a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.